take
Mrs. Bohan,
yeah, here.
Mr. Conrady,
Here.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Here.
Mrs. Steiner,
Here?
Dr. Schulman,
Here.
Mr. Yekitis,
Here.
and let the records show that Ms. Cheney is absent.
And the next thing on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, but before we do that, I would ask that we stand and just take a moment of silence to honor those who lost lives or were injured or served to rescue others or went into the military to serve our country after 9/11. And so we'll just stand and take a few minutes, and then I would ask Kevin Fedrowski to lead us in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Then we will move on to the consent agenda, which begins with the approval of minutes for the regular meeting held on August 14th of 2019, and approval of accounts from the month of August. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Take the roll.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman,
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis,
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan.
Yes. Do we have any communications from the public?
I did not receive any.
Okay. Then we do have a communications folder, and I'll start it over here, and then you can pass it back this way for the board to look at.
Do we have to do
And then we will move on to announcements.
Do we have to do the approval of accounts for the month of August?
didn't.
Do we have to approve the accounts for the month
We
of
did
August?
the consent agenda.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've got, in the way of, we don't have any announcements, no. I'm just going to jump the gun on the superintendent's report, sorry.
Okay. Well, do we have any district recognition? Then you can go
All
ahead
right,
and
there we
jump the
go.
gun on the superintendent's report.
Well, the school district is excited to welcome 6 new foreign exchange students from China who will be studying in Marshfield during the 1920 school year as part of our district MySEP program. The district is also pleased to announce that we'll have another Friends from Afar Academy this fall as part of the MySEP program. This October, Grant School and Nasonville Elementary Schools will host 30 4th and 5th grade students along with 4 chaperones from Zhangjiagang, China. And we want to extend a very warm welcome to all of our student visitors who will be here during the year from China, and thank them for choosing Marshfield as part of their international studies. Just one other item, I wanted to take yet another opportunity to put a plug in for our beautiful new Hiding Community Stadium. We just want to remind all in the public to mark your calendars for the evening of September 27th. That's the last Friday in September. A ribbon cutting ceremony for the Kenneth and Artis Hiding Community Stadium will be held at 6 p.m. prior to the Tigers homecoming football game, which kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Please come on out and wear your orange and black and be prepared to help support our Tiger football team at that event. Additional homecoming events and times will be posted as they become available on our district website. Thank you.
And that is exciting. I had the pleasure of meeting the Hidings and finding out more about their involvement with children and caring for foster children, et cetera, over the years. And so their passion for the children of our community is well represented with that athletic facility. The next thing on the agenda is we do have some gifts, and among them are Madison Elementary has 3 $1,000 from Victoria Clark, AKA Vicki Clark, for student needs, a sandbox with sand valued at $100 from Denny and Heather Barshow, $50 from Shauna Dargenio and Gina Gellings for student needs. Then we have $443.65 from Donors Choose for a for pre-cut Explore Air 2 bundle pack and vinyl for Mrs. Van Tassel's fourth grade class at Nasonville. $257.50 from Ascension Health at Home for student needs. $3,000 from Derek Blanchard AP Fund through the Marshfield Area Community Foundation for AP testing fees. $500 joint donation from Marshfield Clinic and Security Health Plan for sixth grade leadership project. For Lincoln Elementary, there are 3 items. The first is items for the school store valued at $30 from Lori Wolf. School supplies valued at $50 from Tricia Volke. Items for the school store valued at $15 from Kathy Bilke. And then football team's first 24 has 3 donations. The first is $350 from Don Nicolai Construction and Supply, then $350 from Power Pack, and $300 from Josh and Sherry Meisner. What is the board's desire regarding these gifts?
Can we add 2 more? The last 2 under Madison Elementary. Did we say those? The 3,700? I missed those 2.
I printed it off.
Yeah, I think there's 2
So
more.
you're saying there are 2 more
There's
on the
another,
one
yeah,
on
there's 2
the
more. 37,
website.
3,757.
Thank you for bringing that to my
Okay,
attention.
did you see those? Okay.
Okay,
Great.
yes,
Thank you.
we have $3,757.02 for student needs at Madison Elementary from Sally Wysinski and Susan Hassenfang, Women Helping Out. And then kindergarten mats valued at $100 from Scott and Julie Hurdle. Thank you, Sam, for pointing that out, and generous donations. And what is the board's desire?
To accept. Oh, you do it. No, you're
Move
doing
to
so well.
approve with great things.
Thank you, Mark. And Sam, are you seconding that?
That's what I was going to say.
Okay. Thank you. Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Then we'll move on to Facilities, Safety, and Transportation meeting.
Yes, we did meet, it was a great meeting. We did go into closed session, and we had talked previously about bus contracts, and there'll be some stuff coming forward as far as the busing industry getting ready. It's getting that time to put it out for bids. So that stuff will be coming forward in the future here. Then we jumped into vehicles, headed up to the high school, and we took a tour of the stadium. I think I can speak for the full board. We'd like to thank the whole community of Marshfield for this new stadium. Folks, it was done right. Everything about it is done right. I went to the first game, and all I heard was nothing but comments. Dale, I'm sure you've heard the same thing when you was there. Dale got to announce the first game over the radio. What I heard was a beautiful job when I heard it on the radio, so.
You travel with liars.
I got to listen to the stats at the end. So, but if you get a chance, please take a look at the stadium. It is really something to see. As I told the Bozen family while we were at the stadium, I believe this project is the nicest project the community of Marshfield has ever built. It is beautiful, just beautiful. And that's all I have.
So you're just a little excited.
Exactly.
Or a lot.
A lot.
Okay. Thank you, Mark. Then we'll move on to policy legislation. Karen?
Yep, we met for a really long time. We did
It's a really long, This whole page is policy, okay, plus
30
more on the.
I don't know that we need to beleaguer all the different policies we looked at. For coming to the board for consideration, we did second readings of the evaluation of the superintendent, which is policy 1240, 1400 V2, version 2 superintendent job description, the 2019-2020 alternative school handbook, and the 19 to 20 MISAP handbook. Changes were made. It looks beautiful. I love it. The way, so what we have, and then we did first reading of a whole bunch. We're just, doing the scout work of getting through policy after policy.
And so much of it was the Neola recommendations from the organization
Routine.
that helps us stay in line with the state statutes, which we couldn't possibly do
Just
on our own.
updates from,
Yeah.
And we have to have approvals, pardon me,
Yep.
for the first 4 or 5, because those are action items.
Yep, getting to it.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I'm still
You know,
talking.
sure
But thank
you
you for
will
making
get
me
it.
stop talking so I can go
So
on
you're
and on.
assigning the rest of the board to read through all of those first readings for next.
Yes, please be familiar with all those first readings and offer suggestions, because it's a lot of fun to read. There really weren't too many, there was nothing controversial,
No.
difficult. They're mostly just keeping in line with the rest of the state and their recommendations. The first 4 items, I would like to, I have to do these individually. Offer for, on the recommendation of the policy committee, I do recommend approval of policy 1240, evaluation of the superintendent.
Okay, so on behalf of the Policy Legislation Committee, we have a motion to approve policy 1240, evaluation of superintendent. Any questions?
Yes. Are we approving the evaluation process at this time, or an evaluation that has been or is going to be given to Ryan?
Strictly just what's in the policy manual as a template for
So
how
just-
we're
just the
going to
policy.
evaluate. Correct.
And if I can add just one small recap on that. So first off, the board did approve using the DAPE system, which
Correct.
we're off and running with this year. But just as a reminder, when we went through the training on that, it was recommended that we update these 2 policies related to superintendent job description and evaluation. These recommended updates fall in line with the DAPE system. So it would operate in conjunction with the system the board has already approved.
Right, and the DAPE system for the general public is a new system the board will use in the process of evaluation. So the process itself is going to be changed somewhat.
And then I would also add that it follows the same evaluation system that the district uses with teaching staff and support staff.
Right.
And it doesn't preclude a future board from using something other than DAPES.
Correct.
It just falls in line with DAPES, so you can use DAPES or,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
Any
My
other
questions answered?
questions or comments? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote on that motion.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes. Karen?
The Policy and Legislation Committee also recommends approval of policy 14, version 2, superintendent job description.
Okay. So on behalf of the Policy Committee, we have a motion to approve policy 1400 version 2, superintendent job description. Any questions or comments on that one? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Here, yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
The Policy and Legislation Committee also recommends approval of the 2019-2020 alternative school student handbook.
Okay. So on behalf of the Policy Committee, we have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 alternative school student handbook. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, we'll take the roll.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes. And finally, on behalf of Policy Committee, we recommend approval of 2019-2020 Marshfield International Student Exchange Program Handbook,
Okay. So on
into
behalf-
which many, many hours of detailed work and wonderful updates took
Yes,
place.
yes, that's-
It's a much improved and very thorough and complete item now, so take a look at it if you
It
haven't
has a
seen.
number of pages.
Lots of pages.
Okay, so on behalf of the Policy Committee, we have a motion to approve the 2019-2020 Marshfield International Student Exchange Program, or MISEP Handbook. And any questions or comments on that?
I just want to say that during that process that Karen described, it really highlighted to me the importance of really taking deep dives with these handbooks and how much better the program will be because of the work that the staff person did to make this a much more relevant and really helpful handbook.
It's
Agreed.
still a relatively young program in Marshfield too, so it's good that those
It was really good to
changes
see
are-
that happening now,
those
yeah.
updates are taken care of.
Then we'll go ahead and take a vote.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Yeah, and aside from catching yourselves up on all those other first readings, we look forward to, in the next couple of months, also getting an update on how the cell phone policy is has been rolled out, and if there's any feedback and updates from that, we're looking in the next couple of months to review that.
Anything else?
I don't think so. No, more policy review. No, that's about it.
Thank you for all the work.
It's fun.
That takes care of the whole page.
Right?
And we'll go on to employee relations.
And I was absent, and
Okay.
Ms. Steiner.
So I'll-
Ms. Steiner.
Okay.
Sam.
Just call me
We'll do
Sam.
that.
So we met on September 3rd, and we discussed a new behavioral interventionist position that will be taken by Chris Phillips. And I'm really excited about this. I think it's a wonderful way of working with teachers in the classroom to assist with difficult behavior situations in a manner that is going to allow the teacher to be the one who is doing the intervention with the student. And the behavioral interventionist role, we changed the job search so that it would be a licensed teacher, so that he or she can take over the class while the teacher who has the history with the child can work on an intervention that maybe have done, or they've worked on a plan in consultation with Chris. But it really, I just think it's a wonderful model. And so she is going to be we're going to pilot this at the Washington School and see how that goes, and perhaps add that to other schools in the future after we review how it went. We also talked about a proposed 4K teacher assistant to be placed in our new 4K classroom at Lincoln School. And so that will be an action item. Then we reviewed, there was mention of updating the 3-year staffing needs assessment, which was done almost 3 years ago, and largely completed as we reviewed it. Pretty much all of the objectives except for one have been filled, and we really wanted to make sure that we are doing another needs assessment in cooperation with the building administrators. Ryan was mentioning that will be very much a collaborative effort to put forth a new 3-year plan for staffing needs. So I thought that was a good thing to know, that we're going to get that going. And then lastly, we talked about the school calendar, and the preliminary calendar was reported out to the committee, and so we're just waiting to get feedback from staff, and then bring it back in a month for potential action. And that's about all we did. Do you remember anything else, Francis?
That covers it, I think.
Okay.
It's well done.
So then we need a motion. We are bringing forth
Yes.
approval on behalf of the committee approval of the 4K, proposed 4K teacher assistant position, which will be half-time.
Thank you. So we have a motion on behalf of the committee to approve a 4K teacher assistant position, 0.5 FTE. And are there any questions or comments about that? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes. Then we'll move on to finance. Mark.
All right. My notes in my computer are from August 14th yet, so I'm gonna ask the rest of my board members and Pat for probably a little help. I think what we'll do is we'll move right into the approval to change accounts payable bi-monthly checks processing to weekly processing. The reason for this action, as I bring it to you, is because it's gonna lessen any chances of mistakes being done. The girls get a big stack of invoices and checks to go out, have to review them. By doing it weekly, we'll be able to thin that stack down rather than bi-weekly. Also, as they went through the audit, the auditor said, this is where we believe you need to be. So those are the reasons for this. So I am moved to approve to change accounts payable bi-monthly check processing to weekly processing.
So that's on behalf of the committee.
Yes,
There's a
that is on behalf
motion
of the
to
committee.
approve the change for accounts payable bi-monthly check processing to weekly processing. Any questions or comments on that? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes. All right, we also had discussion on the public hearing, which you'll see the paperwork in your board docs with the fund balance. That is happening at 5:30 on September 25th. So if you have any questions reading through that badass, please give him a call and he'll answer any questions that you may have. All right?
So the public's invited that last Wednesday of this month. to
Yes.
come. And what time is it?
5:30.
5:30.
5:30, okay.
Pat, is there anything you want to add to the 2019-20 budget update and review?
No, pretty good, Mark. I think, everything fell into place pretty nicely with the increases that were allowed through the governor's office and some of the changes he had made there through the veto process. We came in a good spot, basically staff in terms of requests and everything we wanted to include, was able to make it this year's budget, so we're good to move forward.
All right, so with that, we're looking pretty good. Unless any of my other committee members would like to add anything?
No, the budget information is always available at central office if the public has questions.
Thank you, Bert.
Thank you.
Then we will move, curriculum and instruction did not meet this month, so we'll move on to new business. And I believe you had some items to.
Yes, personnel report. This is not on behalf of the personnel committee, but just as an individual board member. Approval of retirements first, in this case it's a retirement. Mark Stroman, custodian, second shift from Grant School. So I make the motion.
And so we need a second for that.
Second.
Thank you. And any questions? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Steiner?
Yes.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan?
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla?
Yes.
I wasn't sure that we agreed that the next two would be done individually or together.
No, we were gonna do all of these. These are the only two that were gonna be individual.
I just want to make sure. Thank you.
think.
Okay, so resignations of Ruth Albee, teacher assistant, regular education at the middle school, and also under resignations, Jason Wilhelm, the principal at Marshfield High School. I make the motion to approve those two resignations.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Conrad. Any questions or comments? Then we'll go ahead and take the roll.
Dr. Schulman?
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner.
Yes.
Next category would be approval of employment of new personnel. Before I start to read those, I'm going to also read the person being replaced. That can be a little bit, I don't want to say deceptive, but some of the people that are being replaced are not necessarily leaving or retiring. They may be moving to another position, just so we know. Okay, approval of employment. Cassandra Andrew, a teacher assistant, regular education at the middle school, replacing Ruth Elby. Ellen Bednarski, food service preparation cook at the high school, replacing Carla Morgan. Dory could be Fuhrer, teacher assistant, regular education at Lincoln. That's a new position. Nicole Gonzalez, a custodian second shift at Madison, replacing Kim Frederick. Julie Hahn, a food service preparation cook at the high school, replacing Mary Jane Vesley. Kim Haig, social worker, district-wide, replacing Joanne Greenlee. I believe Joanne is one of those I was talking about that's actually just moving to a different position, correct?
Position, yes.
Emily Krug, teacher, grade 5, Nasonville, replacing Chris Phillips. Is that another one? That's another one, okay. So on behalf of myself as an individual board member, I make the motion to approve those individuals for employment.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Yes, Mr. Cudmore. And any questions, comments? Then we'll go ahead and do.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
Finally, a couple more items. Approval of new administrative appointments. Right. Mike Nixick to be principal at the high school, replacing Jason Wilhelm, we just received his resignation. So I make that individual recommendation on behalf of myself as a board member.
I second.
And do we have a second?
I just did.
And Mrs. Steiner, second. Okay. Any questions, comments? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes. Mike Devine has worked in the school district before in a number of interim-type positions and replacement positions. He will be the interim principal or assistant?
Principal.
Principal at Marshfield Middle School, replacing Mike Nixick, who is moving to the high school. So I make that individual motion for Mike Devine.
Second.
I'm sorry.
I just did.
Sam.
I'm sorry.
Sam.
Yeah, it's
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Steiner, second. Thank you. Any questions, comments? Then we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Mr. Conrady,
Yes.
Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan.
Yes.
And that's all on the new business personnel report.
Okay. Then we will move on to the overnight and extended trips. There are 3 NESEP weekend excursions on there. What would be your desire on those? Approve all 3?
To approve all 3, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I move that we approve all 3.
Okay. A second? And a second. So, motion by Mrs. Steiner, second by Dr. Sabala,
Okay,
for all 3
okay,
approvals.
all right.
Any comments or? The only one I have, which is just minor, is just to line up on the excursion to Madison on the itinerary. It had destination Milwaukee. So it just
Oh.
needs, but every place else on there it said Madison. So I'm sure it's going to Madison. Okay. So if we make that technical change, it's just a technical one. Any questions? And we'll go ahead and take a roll.
All right. Dr. Sitwalla,
Yes.
Mrs. Steiner,
Yes.
Dr. Schulman.
Yes.
Mr. Yekitis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bohan,
Yes.
Mr. Conrady?
Yes.
Okay. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Aye.
I'll second.
And Dr. Schulman, second. And everyone say aye.
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 Okay, there we go.